entice them to open the email a little bit more.
Asking the question.
Asking the question.
Because it immediately engages their attention. They start to think about the answer. They can't help it. It's a gut reaction.
And they want to know more. They want to know more. And then the content thing, it's like you want to give them a little bit of content, but ultimately what you want to do is drive them back to your website for the full content, which means you have to have a call to action, which means like a click here button or something like that. So you know, it's like you get them a little bit excited and then they want more, right? So another great way to get people excited is to show that you actually get where they are or what they're going through. Get involved in the emotion of it. Let them know that you're real and you're presenting something of yourself. You're giving of yourself, not just giving them technical information, which is kind of boring and that sort of thing, right? So it's helpful to add a little bit about yourself.
Personal. Just make it real personal.
Yeah.
Because that's what works on the internet.
Yes, particularly in the tweets and in the Facebook posts and the LinkedIn posts. The more you share about yourself, and by that I mean your business or your new offerings. You always have to have a new offering.
Yeah.
The more you tweet, the more you tell people what you're up to, whether it's I've had an article, or I'm going to be on a TV show, or even some of your personal activities. I've been away, or some of your hobbies or your interests, that sort of thing.
But not all of your personal activities.
No, you have to limit, but just a little bit, just to make yourself a little bit human, so people feel like they can.
Because that's what it's about.
Resonate
really,
with you.
It's all about
building a relationship.
Relationships, absolutely.
Yes.
And it's like you said, it's not selling. You're not going to make a sale with this, but if you're doing it right, you're going to draw some traffic to your website, and then your website should be designed to leverage that visitor into a customer at some
Correct.
point.
And now, if you're worried that you don't have enough people reading or your list isn't building fast enough, there's a couple things you can do to actually grow the list. Number one, you should always have a free offering on your website, such as an ebook or something like that, where people have to opt in. They have to subscribe to get it.
Yeah.
And then you have to follow that up. You can't just have it there. You have to promote it. So you should have a URL link to, if you have a separate blog from your website, if you're not using a WordPress site, on everything you do, from sending out emails with a signature block to all your social media accounts, whatever, you need a link and feeds like RSS feeds back to your own site. So you're always promoting it. You're always having a link to it.
Yeah.
And then you need to also start listing yourself in blog directories, commenting on other people's blogs, using their URLs in your posts, maybe registering with Yahoo so that the spider counts are more up there. You keep drawing traffic back. You also can register with tracking devices like MyTracker, and it'll show how many people are responding to your posts and to your that's on your blog.
Right. It sounds like a lot of stuff to know. It sounds like you almost have to be an expert at internet marketing and all these different tools, and there's new tools, of course, coming up all the time. I mean, where was Twitter 2 years ago? Nobody ever heard of it.
I don't think you have to be an expert. I think, granted, some of this is going to take some time. There are experts you can hire, social media experts or even virtual assistants to help you. But
like you, for example.
Well, yes, but for me, what I would do better than that is really peruse the content. And that is 90% of the problem, is sometimes the content just isn't engaging or inviting, or it's too salesy.
Right.
And if that's kind of not your forte, then having another pair of eyes or ears or a hand like myself with some knowledge on how to write good copy would be really good to review your website and to review your blog and whatever you're sending out weekly. Or to get you set up on a schedule, or just to get the whole thing rocking and rolling. If you choose not to use an expert coach and consultant like myself, then you should maybe query your best client or your best ideal client and ask them, ask them bluntly, like, not what you think of this, because obviously they're not going to tell you, they don't want to hurt your feeling, but more like what kind of emotion does this produce? Do you want to read it? Do you want to open my email? And if not, what could I do differently to get you to read it.
But this is, it kind of reminds me of when I get asked to do a survey online, because it seems to me, and this is part of the reason why you're saying what you're saying here, is that the scarcest thing on the internet is people's attention, right? So when you ask somebody to do a survey, or even if you're asking somebody to read your newsletter, there's really got to be some value for them to do that, whether it's a prize for filling out that survey, because what you're asking them is to spend some of their valuable time doing your thing, right?
Yeah, but I didn't mean do it like that. I meant call one or two people and ask them. But yes, everything has to be of value, and so does the content. If the information within is not of great value, then obviously you have no incentive to read it. Another thing, though, is and this is a big problem, is that when people send out their newsletter or their blog or whatever, or their sales offer or their announcements, they don't do it often enough. They have to be more consistent, and they're not actually promoting their products, services, or their programs enough. They have to have new offers all the time. They have to keep going.
But what
they
about
can't
the whole
just leave
thing?
it.
What about the whole? There are some people, for example, if they're sending out, I'm not sure what the optimal is, whether it's once a week, once a month, because I think once a day is too much.
Yeah, that's
people are going to
borderline
get
obnoxious.
They're going to get
Annoyed.
fed up with it, and they're going to unsubscribe.
I think once a week is sufficient. But I mean, I stick to a once a week schedule because I know now people who have opted into this, when they download my ebook on my website, 67 plus ways to promote yourself, your business, and make money today. They get the book, and the book is really a marketing manifesto of all these great little tips, easy little tips. But now I've supplemented that, and I tell people, when you sign up for this, you also get my Foolproof Marketing Hints series, which is the blog post every week, which is going to cover some of these topics in the book and some other ones in more detail. Every week, sent to your inbox every single Friday. So now they're expecting it, and they want it because they've opted in. And if they don't want it, there's another opt at the bottom, unsubscribe. They can get out anytime if they really don't want it. And, that's the whole trick, is to constantly be posting and offering new things. And I don't just mean in the content of your blog or your newsletter or those materials. I mean in your offers. Like if you have a new sale on, if you're in retail, and a new product feature, a new clothing line, a store event, this sort of thing. Any reason to keep sending out notices. Every time I'm on the show, I send out notices. Every time, I have a new coaching a new aspect to my coaching program, because there's different ways of using it. There's one-on-one, there's group, or I'm speaking, or whatever the offering is that I think people would be interested in, or that could have some benefit, because it's really about the benefit or the value, as you say it. I put it out, and I do it more often than less often, because it helps to keep you at the forefront.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to let people know about? Because obviously people can get in touch with you and find out more, but is there anything else you want to leave people with today?
I want to leave them with this impression that you can't have the impression that if you build it, they will come on the web or in the internet. It doesn't happen that way. You really have to promote everything you've got going, even if you have a separate URL for your blog.
Right.
It's very, very important. And that they shouldn't take it personally. What they should do is employ some of these tips to get those ratings up, so that you don't see 0 posts beside your comments in the comments, and just to get more people to read your things and open your things, and whatever you can do. Obviously, I have a lot more tips and hints, but I only have so much time on the show. And so, this is part of what I coach and consult people on under the Magnetic Marketing PR process, one-on-one or group. So, they could visit me at www.yourmarketingmagnet.com, or they could call me to discuss their needs at 905-882-6893.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jeanette.
And I'm also giving away today, for the first caller in, 1 free complimentary coaching session or marketing assessment with me,